Welcome back to the Power to Love podcast. This is part 8 of my Love Word series. And today we're going to talk about your poetry words. And this is all about scripting from a softer view. Your poetry words are putting feelings to facts. It's a personal feminine spin on describing something to someone. And it's how to shift to your feminine quickly. It's leaning back from your masculine mode. Now, if you didn't know, I am a certified Rory Ray relationship coach. And Rory Ray has a program where she trains her coaches. And one of my favorite parts of the training was about poetry words. And the way Rory Ray describes it, the way she explains it, is that sometimes you can be a reporter, but instead of being a reporter in your feminine energy, you want to be a poet. Here's an example. You see something happen and you want to explain it to someone. I'll just use a bad example. Oh my goodness, it was a car accident and the car, it just crashed and it hit a tree. All right. That's a reporter. As a poet, you might say, it was terrifying. The car just out of nowhere, it just careened and I heard the screeching brakes and my breath was caught in my heart and all of a sudden it was, oh my God, I was so close to tears. And then the door pops open and the man rolls out and he's okay. Oh, what a relief. It was so terrifying. Okay. What I just did was I infused my feelings, my experience, what happened to me internally. And instead of reporting what happened, I was a poet describing what happened. And the number one thing is that you infuse your feelings into the description. You infuse your poetry words, your descriptive feeling words into the experience. And I'm going to coach you a little bit on this just for a little bit today. And I'm going to add another part to that. And it's to understand where in your body you felt it and see if you can work that in. That's a bit more advanced. I normally coach my clients on this and it takes a couple of sessions until they find their own style of doing this. But in part of the series of scripting, this is important because you need to know how do I get to sound more feminine? How do I get to make it more of a leaning back experience? How do I convey my irresistibility to him, to the world? And it all comes in the ability to infuse the facts with your feelings. But in order to do that, you have to feel it first. And to really connect with that, you have to feel where you feel it in your body. So this whole podcast is about switching from a reporter to a muse. Okay? So part of a feminine leaning back, irresistible lifestyle is how you speak. And when you're using poetry words, it has to begin with your imagination, your inner vision. And it's all about the words you use to describe what you feel or what you felt about something. So let me ask you, where do you feel your poetry? Where do you feel your descriptiveness? Where do those words come from? And I'll tell you right now, if you're sitting here and you're saying, T, I don't have those words, I'm not like you. I've heard that before. Let's go a little deeper into this. You have to find words. It's almost like a hunt. You're on the hunt continuously for words that you may want to try or that you may want to add. It's almost like a scavenger hunt. Okay, what kind of word do I want? You'll hear a word, you'll read a word, and you're like, okay, how do I get exposed to that? Read books, listen to audiobooks, read magazines, and I don't mean like intently read. You're kind of scanning them for words that feel something to you, words that you're curious about. Now, I can't give you a how to on this blow by blow because it's really your personal style, the words that appeal to you based on your life experiences, your dreams, and your desires. The words that jump out at me, um, I don't know, I guess I'm more dramatic. So my words tend to be more dramatic, more flavorful. Whereas I have a friend, her words are very soft and light. Every time I hear her talk, I think of clouds in the sky, just dancing by. Her style is different, but she had to find her style. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. You can look in, you can listen to podcasts. You can look in books. A friend of mine, we go to Barnes and Nobles and we just go through the whole store, start in the magazine aisle and go through the different stores and you look at the books and whatever I'm in the mood for. Maybe I'm looking at cooking books or self-help books or business books. And as you're scanning through it, sometimes it's called a hook. The covers, the taglines, the titles, they're meant to grab your attention. And I see what grabs me. And I may see a word or I may see the use of a word that's different than I've ever experienced. And that's what I'm asking you to do. You could do it online, whatever suits you. You could be just somewhere like on vacation. The word playa, that's Spanish for beach. That appealed to me. I was like, oh, the beach, playa. Yay. So that's how you're going to approach the scavenger hunt for your poetry words just to develop it a bit more. Now let's go into the internal part of it. When you feel something or when you felt something, where did you feel that in response to whatever it was? And remember, you have to go for the positive and the negative because you need poetry words that can get those feelings out when it's a negative experience. That's very crucial. So keep the balance, positive and negative. I'm going to use the description for positive, but I just want you to always remember you're going to access the negative as well. So sharing what you feel or felt begins with knowing where you felt it in your body. And I share that sometimes. Sometimes I'll say, oh, I felt it in my chest. Oh, I felt it in my shoulders. Oh, I felt it in my hands. I felt it up my back. Okay. Just showing you where I feel it and how I would describe. And I make it short and quick, not long and explaining. Short and quick, just a quick little visual. I know someone who says I can't unsee that T. Yeah, that's my hook right there. Okay. So it's about getting into your imagination just with a little feminine twist. Remember how you felt and where you felt it. This doesn't have to be complicated. Don't overthink it. A lot of my clients are um, high powered women, and we tend to overthink things. Don't overthink this. Keep it nice, short, and sweet. You're using your imagination with a little feminine twist, and it's about how you felt something and where you felt it in your body. So let me just put let me put this in the context of leaning back. You experience something, therefore you receive it. You pause, that means you get into the moment. You process it during that pause, and this processing is when you're saying, "Okay, I experienced this. This happened out in my environment. I received that. Now I'm processing it. How do I feel? Where do I feel it?" And now that you understand what you felt and where you felt it in your body, now you're finding a poetry word, or you're picking one of your poetry words, and they could be love words, but the poetry words are specifically descriptive. That's the difference. One of my main poetry word combos are sunshine and warm. If you listen to my coaching videos, you'll hear me say sunshine and warm, because that's a combination. The sunshine, I felt something about the sunshine and it warmed me somewhere. All right. So you want to receive, pause, process, and then respond. In that processing, you're feeling it where it is in your body. Your response includes your poetry words, and you're not reporting it. Okay. You're not just throwing out hard, solid facts. You're infusing that with your feelings. And so that's how it comes out as poetry speak. That's how it comes out to include your feelings. That's how it comes out as something feminine. And it's not always pretty. That's the negative side of it. I'll cover that in a different podcast. But it's about describing how you felt and where you felt it. But this is the feminine spin to it. And you're saying, okay, why do I have to do this? What difference does this make? When you are stuck in masculine mode, when you feel like you can't lean back, when you feel you're just pushing, 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 pushing at a man, and you don't know how to stop because he caused you to do this, that's what this is for. That's what this is all about. Because sometimes I may speak poetry to myself just to calm myself down and say, okay, I think I need to go take a walk on the shore and let the waves lap on my feet and cool my body down, just so that I can shift back into a feminine place. And so this is me talking to myself, softening up that moment, softening up that experience, softening me from very leaning forward, masculine, energetic place that I was feeling quite comfortable in. Because I was about to say, yeah, getting on my last nerve. But instead of letting that fly out of my mouth, I had an option. And the option was to speak my poetry. But in order to speak my poetry, I had to feel my poetry first. All right. Now, this takes practice. It's it's something that's specific to you, your life, and how you experience things. You can get a coaching session if you want help with it, but practice this first before you go, oh no, I need a coaching session. No, practice this. I'm going to put a link to the poetry words page from my blog, and there's an exercise about a butterfly. Practice that. Go back over this podcast and the hunt, your scavenger hunt for your poetry words, practice that as well, and really give it some effort, so that you've at least took a deep dive into the idea of your poetry words, and describing something and knowing where you felt it, and even practice saying where you felt it, and practice it on your friends and your family if you don't feel ready to do this with a man. The point is to just get into it and start doing it, and you'll find that's why I'm taking you away from scripting a little bit, but this is still scripting. I'm just helping you get to the juicy part of it. All right. So until the next podcast, ciao.